Aloha everyone, welcome back. Another video that I figured I would try and experiment with. Right now I have my phone hooked up to a microscope to try and shoot a micrograft on the microscope, see if that'll work out. It's going to be a little tricky to try and keep everything in focus since what I see through the microscope is different from what the camera sees. So it's going to be a bit of a trial and error, and hopefully it will come out alright. So I have a very small scion that I'm going to graft onto that rootstock, and hopefully I can make this work. It's going to be a little tricky since, like I said, I can barely see what the camera sees at the same time as what I'm seeing on the microscope. So bear with me. Hopefully this will turn out to be some interesting content. If not, then I can just delete it. But we'll give it a shot. So this is a Sabra rootstock I'm going to try and graft this scion onto. It's about as, I don't know, thick as like a thick spaghetti maybe. But so I'm just kind of eyeballing where this scion could go. It's very similar size, so I think we should be okay. So let's just give it a shot. Right in here should give me enough space to wrap everything up, and I'll just snip that off. No going back now. In focus. Okay. I'm just gonna go sideways just to try not to cut myself playing with razor blades. I'm just going super slow to keep from ruining my rootstock, since I don't have a whole lot that match this thickness of this scion, so just want to go easy. Okay, that should be deep enough. Okay. So I'm just gonna go easy and I'm just cutting a tiny bit off at a time. I'm really bad at like getting the exact opposite side, so that's why you'll see me constantly checking that I have it even on both sides. See how this side is thinner than the other side, so I have to adjust my cut a little more. Go back to the other side. Okay, getting closer. Yeah, we're pretty close on both sides. With my luck, if I keep going, I'm gonna make it worse, but that's why I do this. To show you what not to do. Okay. Another cut here. That's pretty good. And then now we're gonna flatten off the base of the cut. It's tricky trying to work under this microscope. It's probably more trouble than it's actually worth. Okay. We'll see if this lines up. So in here we got the cambium layer that we're trying to match up, which is that green line along the edge in between the white and the core. And then we're trying to match it up with the scion in the middle. So let's see if I manage to do it right. So slide this guy in. It's a little different thickness, so I'm not sure this is the best match. Push it down there really good. Let's look at the other side. Yeah, this thing is way bigger than the scion I'm working with. I should have gone further up. Okay. Yeah, let's try that other one. I'll find a different rootstock for that one. Yeah. Okay, let's try that again. Get one cut on the bottom. It's hard to get a grip on it because it's so small. Oh no, I made it shorter. That means it's going to be thinner. I don't have a bunch of these to work with, so I'm kind of ruining this. Okay, that's closer. Okay, try and smooth this cut out a bit. Man, I'm just wrecking this thing. Okay, we're getting there. Okay. So I kind of have this hump in the cut that I need to flatten out. Oh no, I went too deep again. Okay, we're gonna do this, I promise. Okay. Easy does it. An eternity later, I'll have this done. I probably don't even have this in the camera, I'm just using the microscope and not checking the framing. Okay, I'm gonna call that good enough, even though it's a little uneven. I'm in a losing situation right now. Every cut I make, I ruin it a little more. So not the smoothest cuts. Twist it to see the cross angle shot. Push it all the way in there. That side looks pretty good. Let's spin it around and see what the other side looks like. Yeah, definitely too thin of a scion for this. I only need one side to match, but when you're working with micrografts, it's very, what do you call it? Temperamental. So getting it to work might be better off if it had two sides matching. So I'm gonna try another rootstock. So I'll snip this guy back at the top. And cut these side branches off. Try not to slice my finger. Okay, Slowly working down, make sure I'm doing it even. Looks like it. Okay. There's a very narrow field of focus, which makes it so my eyes in the microscope eyepieces are actually out of focus when the camera is in focus. So naturally you want what you're doing to be in focus. So when I adjust it to make it where my eyes view, my eyepieces are in focus, the camera goes out of focus. This is my first time messing with this adapter for my iPhone to see if it will work as an option, because I don't want to buy a microscope camera. Those are pretty pricey, but it's definitely a possibility in the future. Okay, so we got our cut in our rootstock, we got our scion. Let's see which one is a closer match now, because I only have two of these to work with. This one looks pretty close. Let's see. And push it down in there. Okay. That lines up pretty good on this side. Spin it around. Yeah, this is a better match. Okay, so I'm gonna have to wrap it pretty good to get those to match up. I'll snip the tip off. Go away. Okay. Okay, cool. And this side. Okay, let's try and wrap it up. This is already getting to be too long of a video for a single tiny graft. So I'm getting a piece of buddy tape. I'm going to pre-stretch it a little bit and start lower on the base to get it started. Okay, so now I just keep it pretty tight, but not too tight. The biggest thing is just to make sure that it doesn't move and it stays lined up. In the future I might do this microscope grafting, but just not on video, because trying to get it to look right on video is proving to be more of a challenge than it might be worth. So you want to start from the bottom and wrap it upward so that it overlaps the previous one, the previous wrap, so that when it gets rained on or something, it doesn't fall into the tape. It overlaps down the tape, so it's like a, I don't know, shingles on a roof type of thing. Okay. Oh, and I broke the tape. That's alright. This is one of those scenarios where you're gonna, or where I'm gonna just keep going over it to slowly tighten it, since I broke the tape again. Since it's really little, and it's going to be one of those things where you want to just get lots of layers on it to slowly bring it all together and tighten it. If you just try and pull on it, you're just going to damage something or get the scion dislodged from the rootstock. So now that the tape broke away, I'm going to start again on the bottom. Start wrapping my way up. And and I hold the scion before I pull on the tape, or I hold the rootstock and the scion together, because if you just yank on the tape, it's gonna lead to the scion getting pulled out of the joint, the graft union. And my tape is ripping again. So we're gonna keep trying this until I can get a good seal. Because right now I've been like failing at even getting close to a good seal. Alright, start at the bottom again. Pull, stretch. If you guys are enjoying the microscope view, let me know in the comments section, and I'll try and invest into getting a better camera or lens or something that allows me to get it all in focus at the same time as what I'm seeing in the microscope. And try and graft smaller and smaller items until it's not possible anymore. So I have a leaf there I'm just going to stop at and roll down now that I've reached that spot. So normally you'd want to wrap the whole scion with buddy tape either before or after you graft it. With this being a micrograft, normally I don't wrap the scion because it's almost like too hard to wrap it. Like you almost break the scion just trying to wrap it. And usually people will put like a bag over it to keep it from losing its humidity. I generally don't do that. I stick it in like this greenhouse thing that I got. It's like cheap $90 one off Amazon or something. But I have a temperature gauge in the greenhouse, and it definitely, or a humidity meter, and it tells me that it fluctuates quite a bit in there. It'll drop to 50% humidity during the hot part of the day, but almost every night it's at like 90+% humidity. I am out in Hawaii, so that's kind of to be expected, at least the location I'm at in Hawaii. You can put them in like a tote or something to keep the humidity higher. I've had mixed results with using the tote. Some of them were getting like too hot in there because there's no ventilation. So I was noticing like some leaf burn or like some torching of the leaves that were left on the scion. And then once I moved them over to the greenhouse after noticing that, they stayed alive. So I think if anything, a little plastic bag over this would be the most you'd want to deal with trying to keep the moisture in. As long as you're not, well, I'll do it in the greenhouse with a bag over it, if I'm going to do a bag at all. unfortunately, this is a very rare scion that I don't want to have die on me. If it was just something that just broke off a tree and I was just grafting for fun, that wasn't like overly valuable, like I did this with like a Grimmel, and so far that one seems to be holding on. I didn't put that in plastic or anything, and the scion's not wrapped, it's just hanging out in the greenhouse, and I'll go in there every day or every other day to like kind of like spray a hose inside to mist it up to get the humidity higher during the hot part of the day. But even with whatever humidity it kind of keeps in there, it's survived. I don't have any new growth on it yet, but none of the leaves that I left on there have dried up at all or fallen off. And there's a couple like branch nodes or buds that I think are forming, or I'm just tricking myself into thinking they're forming by staring at them every day and assuming they're getting bigger. But just the fact that it's held on to all its leaves and it hasn't lost anything, nothing's dried up, to me is a good sign. And just in general, since jaboticabas have they grow in spurts, like you'll have even a mature seedling or whatever, and it'll go a few months without showing any sign of new growth, and then it'll grow. So I think it's kind of the same thing when you're dealing with grafting. So don't get like too upset if it doesn't show new growth right away. It might just be in between stages where it decides it wants to grow again or flush new growth. So I feel like that's a factor a lot of people don't kind of consider when they're grafting, and they think like, oh, I don't think it took because it hasn't shown any new growth, but it just was like not the right time of the month or the year or whatever is going on for it to start showing more growth. But that's what we're looking at. You can see like my finger for scale. This is my index finger. Gonna try another one. So we're gonna grab this rootstock, the scion I already cut, and see if we can find a correct thickness for this to fit. So we'll go a little ways up on this scion instead of further down. I'm just gonna cut it right below this branch. Get my razor blade. Find the fattest spot to cut down. Just a little rocking back and forth to cut it slowly. That should be deep enough. Check out this scion. That's a terribly cut scion, so let's see if I can improve it at all. That side's better. just shaving it to try and get a straight cut. Okay. That might just have to do. I'm running out of patience on this guy. Wow, that's terrible. All I can say is good thing no one's paying me to do this, because this is not worthy of being paid. Okay, another slice and dice. Well, we're going right to the node. Okay, are we even in the camera? Let's try this. So I'm going to cut this rootstock back a little bit. Okay. You know, it might work. Might just work. I'm going to start pretty low and hopefully build up momentum to get the scion wrapped up at the top. And while I'm here, I do want to thank Adam from Flying Fox Fruits for the wealth of information he's supplied in his videos on grafting. Pretty much I'm just regurgitating a lot of what he has shown. But I feel like more of this needs to be out there. More people need to try it and see it. And this is mostly like my experimenting and see if I can do this while being a complete noob at it, a beginner. Sorry you can't see what I'm doing. I'm trying, but it's more about letting me see what I'm doing so that I do it right instead of ruining my chances. Hoping you can see, but this is, like I said, very tricky. So now I made it to the top, and I'm gonna just start going downward. Okay, I'm back. I ran out of phone storage and my video got cut short, but I'll just show you without the microscope kind of what we're working with here. So here's one of the ones I did, and with my hand for scale you can kind of see what we're working with. And then here's the other one I did. I believe this is the first one. Then while I'm here, I'll show you a little bit. So I did some other grafts up here. This is one of the other ones I did on video without the microscope. And if you look here, you can clearly see that the leaves are still on there. These little nodes here look like, by my index finger right there, looks like it might be getting bigger. It's got a little bit more green to it than it had before, so I think that one is gonna take. That's an opportunistic graft where the wind or rain broke off one of my Grimmel seedlings branches off, so I was like, well, might as well graft it onto something real quick. Here's, in reference to that other video, those 2 micrografts that I showed the progress on before. You can see by scale how small they are, and you can see they have a bunch of new growth on them. These are Novak's cauliflora as far as the variety goes. That one's got a little bit weird leaf going on. Here's another graft I did that's doing fine. I just separated a grafted Grimmel out of this pot, so hopefully I didn't disturb this root set or this grafted tree, since this is one I care about a lot more. I forget what that one is. I think it's PDM. Let's see, what else do I got in here? So here's a Paulista grafted tree. I got this scion from Lance, and it's doing really well. Here's a couple grafted trees here in a community pot. There were 3, but this one appears to have died. This was a Grimmel, so I don't really care as much about it, since I have had a lot more Grimmels. Whereas this one is either Spirito, alright, this, and then this is Sapukaya, I believe. I don't remember. Yeah, so this would be Sapukaya, this grafted tree. They're kind of crossing over each other, and then this one is Spirito, and then here's a PDM grafted tree down here. What else do I got in here? So I also did a rooted cutting, which I am pleased to find out it has new growth coming from it. I up-potted it to have its own container, and immediately after taking it out of the dome, this part died off, and I was just like, well, it's gonna have to figure it out, so I'm not gonna put it in plastic bag or anything. I'm just gonna let it go. And then I'm not sure what the variety is. I don't know, I did so many cuttings that I just kind of mixed them all together. Here's another rooted cutting that's got, I up-potted this one yesterday. I took it out of the dome and have it in here. This is all new growth from the point of which it has rooted. And then here's my rooting dome, and if you see, it's just kind of like a hodgepodge, or like a cluster of all sorts of different things. Like this is wax jambu, cambuca, another wax jambu, some seedlings of jaboticaba that I'm hoping will work, citrus, which is like a finger lime. I don't think it's going to work. These blackberry jam fruits have, almost all of them have rooted for me, so these ones aren't quite ready yet. This got knocked off of a tree, so I don't anticipate it working, but it is off my Sabara, my fruiting Sabara. This is new growth that came out and then got snapped off. probably by a bird or something. So I just threw it in here to see what happens. I don't anticipate it working. This one, I'm trying to think what this is. I'm drawing a blank. Is that peanut butter fruit? No. I don't know. Hopefully I remember what it is. I'll have to look around at my trees and see what one I took a cutting of. But yeah, this is just peat moss. It's pretty moist. And that's all that's in there except for these like ceramic stones that are supposed to hold moisture. And then I've tried different rooting cuttings, like different rooting hormones like Clone-X, as well as Dip and Grow. I think Dip and Grow is probably your better chance of getting things to work for you. So let these go back under their dome. I really have little time to pay attention to these guys, so it's just kind of set it and forget it and hope that they take. But these guys I hope take. These ones I did today, I just bumped this one with my elbow, so I hope I didn't freaking damage it. But leave these here. I at least have trapped. At least I have pretty good humidity in here today because it is a little rainy. This is the Grimmel that I pulled out of that pot that was with this one. So if this one survives, I can try to sell it to someone. But I just wanted to give you a little closeout since my camera or my phone ran out of phone storage and stopped the video. These are the 2 grafted trees that I did under the microscope. This is my first time trying that. I hope you liked it. If not, then I won't do it again. If you do like it, let me know in the comments. Hopefully I can figure out a better solution so that I can stay in focus and I can see what it's doing at the same time as what I'm looking at. I forgot one more thing I was going to tell you guys. While I'm here shooting video, I can show you my fruiting sabra, the one you guys saw me do. You saw me do the pruning on. This is my first fruit. That one's about 1 inch wide almost. I have tinfoil to try and keep the birds from pecking my first fruit off. You can see there's some flowers started there. There's one popped down there. But I'm excited because there's going to be quite a few flowers popping all the way down this thing. It's weird, it's like half the tree wants to flower, but the other half is just content at being a flowerless, fruitless tree. Let me come around this other side. I got a couple other fruits, little dinky guys, but you can see those two. One's just turning purple and the other one was just finished turning. I'm not sure how long they need to take after they turn purple to be ripe. I read it was somewhere around 30 days from the point they first developed the fruit. That one that I have in the tinfoil was on like April 1st. It's like the 26th or something, so I'm expecting it to be done in a few days. I'm just going to keep an eye on it and try and get the most ripe as I can get it without letting a bird get to it first. Let's see, what else do I have fruiting and flowering right now? So here's some apple tree. That's a golden Dorset apple. Looks like I got some little fruit started on here. My red hybrid is not. Some citrus, tangerine is flowering. Oh, my wax jambu's got flowers. This is the first time flowering. So it's got flowers like even all the way down at the base started, so I'm excited on this one. I've had this maybe a year and a half from a grafted tree. Got some fruits already set up here. This is the first ones that flowered, so I imagine they'll be ready in probably like a few weeks. But there's just like flowers all over the thing, getting ready to go. So I did one air layer off of this and it was successful. The second air layer I tried, it did not work out. I think it was because of the ants, because the ants got into the air layer moss that I had there. And I think they just like, I don't know what they do, but I might try a little further up and do another air layer. I got like this scale stuff on it, so I'm gonna treat the tree first and try and get the tree nice and happy without any pests, and then do an air layer so that if I decide to send it to someone, it doesn't have any grody bugs on it. And then this Novak's cauliflower, I think it needs a bigger pot because it did a huge flush of growth, but then all the tips died back. I don't know if it just was drying out and it can't sustain its size in this pot. But now it's been raining again and getting a little more humid. It's got a bunch of new growth started. So this guy's probably going to be up potted soon. It is a pretty big canopy for this like 10-15 gallon pot. I relocated all my sabres all over here. This is all rootstocks and stuff. It's not all of them, but I wanted to get them all in one spot mostly. My arugula bush just escaped my planter. I let it go to flower because lets the pollinators stick around and have something to eat, and I still have plenty of arugula for myself. The cacao tree's got a lot of new growth started from all this moisture, so I think I'm hoping it's close to getting some fruit pod or flower started. Got quite a few cambucas hiding in the bushes. Blueberry bush has got a pretty good amount of blueberries. This is the second year I've had it, I think, maybe year and a half, 2 years, so not a bad haul for a 2-year-old bush. I always have like lettuce and stuff, and there's like strawberries hiding in here. Let's see if a lizard got to it yet. Hide that thing back and keep the birds away from it. And then I moved my collection of jaboticabas all along the wall. So they get a little bit more prime real estate. It's like some ESALQs and Sanfords and Ariana crossed with Vitrantha AXP. This thing has grown really fast. This was just a little tiny seedling that was exploded. Here's another grafted Paulista I did. That's doing quite well. Giant red crystal. Let's see, what other grafts did I do? Here's a grafted grimmel. Another grafted grimmel. I think I did something else over here. Yeah, here's another grafted Paulista. I did a double graft and only one of them took, so that was a good idea to do 2 of them, so that at least one took, so that I can either try and graft something else there or just cut that off and keep it as a one single tree. Malacacheta, it's got some new growth. This Strigipes doesn't want to stay in its pot. I up-potted it and it's still just going out. But it has a new growth coming out the backside, so it's hopefully going to stand up. Blue Guacuea. Looks like it's going to actually branch out now. So now I'll have 2 heads. That'll be good. I got some like durians here I planted. They all got roots started. Some Chempadex, some Chico, Sapadilla, some Cambuca, some macadamia nuts, some miracle fruit, bunch of different. I got two different varieties of durian growing, A69 and Citadel. I have a couple Bali Salak planted. One's got a root there. This one's got a root as well. I just can't see it right now. Oh yeah, a bunch of mangosteens. I got 100% success rate with my mangosteen seeds. So there's like a bunch of little guys popping up everywhere. But anyway, keep planting seeds, keep grafting trees. Here's a Mame Sapota. It's got that one sprouted for me. I already ate a strawberry today. I don't see any more really ready ones. That one's pretty close. I'll let it go one more day. But I just planted a few strawberry bushes, one there, and there, and then they send out runners, and I just let them populate all the plant pots next to it so that I get strawberries in every single one. It doesn't seem to hurt the pots or the other potted plants. This yellow jaboticaba, it flowered but it didn't fruit anything. I think you need two to really get it to actually stick flowers, to stick the fruits. But then again, this is a little guy anyway, so I'm gonna try and pick up another one of these similar size and put them next to each other so that when they flower together, hopefully they'll fruit and actually stick on the trees. Oh cool, I got a ladybug. Don't want to disturb them. You gotta eat all the nasty bugs around here. Got plenty to eat. But anyway, you guys have a good one. I'll sign off with this ESALQ growth. Looking nice and dark. You guys hopefully enjoy this 10-hour long video. This Bronca Vino right here, grafted from Flying Fox. Oh, what else do I have? Here's some Superior Lemon Drop Mangosteen, Garcinia brasiliensis, I believe. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's gonna hold onto the fruits. I keep bumping it and knocking some off, so I don't know if it's just too small, but we'll see. That one looks like it might stay. Anyway, it's my first time growing it, so we'll see. You guys have a good one. And try and keep growing more stuff. Aloha.